everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Jason of Pig's Eye Pottery. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time. If you are already a subscriber, thank you for holding out. I know it's been a delay. Moved all the stuff. You can check the previous video. I moved my shop out to the country where my family and I live. So, going to do a quick video on some medium-sized landscaped rim bowls, and while I'm doing that, I'm also going to explain some of the details of how it's been the last day and a half or so throwing pots standing up. So I put my wheel up on cinder blocks, and I was told somewhere between belt and belly button-ish area is kind of a good spot to be. And yeah, I've had to make some adjustments. It has not been without a learning curve. There is definitely a bit of a learning curve. If you can kind of see behind me, I've got a fair amount of plates that have been thrown in the last day, this morning primarily, a little bit yesterday. And some of them are rough because just I'm coming at it from a different orientation. So anyways, pedal down here on my right, I've got 2 pounds of weighed out and wedged stoneware clay. It's called a buff with ochre. I get it from a local company called Continental Clay Company, local here in the Midwest. And then they also have a location in Colorado. So this is all wedged up. Wheel is dry. I'm going to roll the bottom of it to get that sort of a convexed situation. Smash it down on there. Now what I've learned is I do need to brace on something. For me, it feels more comfortable for me. Instead of just being out here and working all arms, I am actually going to lean, as you can see from the dirty hoodie. I'm going to lean against the wheel, squeezing in, squeezing down to get it centered. And then I'm going to cone this clay to try and work out any potential remaining air bubbles. If this is your first time to the channel, if this is your first time checking this out, all the fun stuff, please subscribe, notifications. I do try and put out pretty regular videos. Also, as some of you may already know, I try and reply to most of the comments. Yeah, if you want to see any particular forms, if you want to see, I know there have been some requests to see a kiln opening. I just got mine up and running, and for those of you potters out there that have their own kilns, as you may be aware, there's a bit of an issue with getting heating elements right now. So I'm sort of cautiously messing with that kiln. I have another kiln at my business location in St. Paul, Minnesota. That one is on the fritz, and I'm waiting for heating elements. But anyways, yada yada. So clay is centered. Now with bowls, I'm going to drop the well with my thumbs, and I'm opening up the clay with my thumbs. And as I push down and pull out, I'm going to ease off the pressure to get this kind of internal surface started. So down, and then as I pull out, I'm just taking it easy on it to get that curve started. And then I'm going to do one pull where I'm just evening out the walls and bringing the clay up a little bit. Not straight up, I'm kind of a little bit of an angle. Because how I do my landscaped bowls is I will stretch the clay at this point and then continue throwing, and it kind of evens it out. So I'm going to use this wooden tool to kind of bring the rim just a bit of an angle, flatten that out, thicken it up a bit, and then get the clay nice and wet, get my hands nice and wet. I'm going to stop the wheel. And in previous videos, if you haven't seen them, check them out. There's a bunch of just the process, or there's a few where I explain what I'm doing here. When it comes to stretching the clay, I'm going to pick 3 spots, stretch the clay out. I used to do a ton of little adjustments and stretching. The last few days, for some odd reason, I've been messing around with just being a little bit more aggressive with it. Thinning these walls out, bringing that clay up, but avoiding thinning out the rim. I don't know if it's yielding better results. We will see what happens. But anyways, just stretching out the clay just like that, okay? I'm going to use this wooden tool again to come through, and I'm going to use my left hand to sort of ride this ridge up and down, and then rest the tool on between my fingers so that I'm compressing, but also not like evening out that stretch that I just created. So, and I'm just kind of letting the tool ride against it, but I'm still pushing down a little bit. I'm actually trying to exaggerate it just a touch, and you'll kind of get the rhythm of it as you go if you want to try it out. Next thing, get a little OCD cleaning involved here, and then also with this sponge, I'm just going to gently hold it on the ridge and soften the two edges on either side. If you want to save some money, by the way, instead of individually buying the little sponge tools or sponges, there we go, not sponge tool. Get a big sponge, cut it into pieces. There you go, get a whole bunch ready to roll. Okay. On this next pull, I'm going to really kind of try and move some material. I haven't quite figured out the situation. Mainly the reason I brought this wheel up was to reduce strain on my back and to like minimize the amount of weird positions I find myself in. Yeah, I still find myself doing pulls over here. I think at some point I might experiment with putting a mirror right there so I can kind of watch what I'm doing, which is sort of the intention of being here, but also not be in this weird, really unnatural position. We'll see how it goes, but for now, we're living over on the side here. I'm trying to do a relatively aggressive pull, leave some heavier throw lines in there, just to slowly work toward this bowl shape. I'm grabbing the clay from the outside, and as I come up, my inside hand is pushing out just to widen that out a little bit more, like that, okay? Again, using the sponge to soften the rim a bit, clean up the inside, and then the next couple of pulls, next couple of moves, I'm gonna incorporate a couple of different rib tools. This rib tool is just a little, metal shape, kind of smile situation. Just like that. Lovely, that was borderline creepy. And I'm gonna use my left hand, start at the top, move my way down. With my right hand, I'm gonna try and compress the clay up against this edge. I like to start up at the top because I can kind of smooth that interior surface out, work my way down to the bottom, and then grab this clay from the outside and really push it in to the tool, just like that. Nice and gentle, nice and slow. If you think, by the way, I have a bucket down here for reclaim, so I'm not just randomly dropping clay onto the floor. Yeah, there's a little bit of a system going on. I think at some point I will actually make like a detailed walk around of this setup. I'm not sure if this is exactly how it will be moving forward. This is kind of intuitively what made sense to me. I'm positive I'm going to make adjustments and change a bunch of stuff because I have a little bit of an issue with OCDing things. So you can kind of see this bowl's taking shape a little bit. I want to give it a little bit more of a belly, a little bit more volume. So I'm going to use my hands to exaggerate that angle. I'm going to start here in the middle, and I'm going to push out a little bit more. By the way, I'm adding a little intro onto some of the videos of what it looks like outside today. It is ridiculously frigid and cold. Not as bad as yesterday, but you'll get the sense. And if you hear like little creaks and weirdness, this is a large building. It is echoey. I'll try and work on the audio at some point. Yeah, it's cold and it's windy and it's really lovely. Yay, Midwest. Next thing, I like to use this more flexible, thinner metal rib tool to push more clay out here and then kind of add some little tool marks on the inside. I like the way that the glaze sort of interacts with it. And I'm just using one hand, pushing out slightly, and then what I did was kind of turned it to this edge and kind of just wiggled around a bit to get sort of a little swirly situation going on. I'm going to very softly rest that sponge on the rim to dry off some of that and soften it. And yeah, I kind of dig it. Not bad. Last thing, undercutting it just slightly. I don't want to push and undercut too much because it'll push material up from the inside and you'll end up with a ridge later on that I don't think looks great. And then a little puddle of water at noon, garrote or assassin tool, depending on how much investigation, discovery, crime documentaries you watch, and then slide the piece off like that. So yeah, this one's not too bad. I dig it. Not quite the amount of character that I'd like on the outside as far as like, you know, tool marks and throw lines, but whatever. Hopefully we'll get on the next one. Again, thank you for watching. I sincerely appreciate it. Please do let me know, for those of you that have gone down in the comments and thrown a little something out there, suggestions. I have heard you. I will absolutely be getting some videos put together with requests here soon, just kind of getting back into the swing of things. And forgot my towel. But either way, I sincerely appreciate you. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful day and be nice to each other, right? Peace.